Great morning, holy brothers! Thank you very much for joining us on our pathway to peace inside the Garden of Peace. If you're following along, we're on page 50 on the bottom, and today's lesson is called Blazingly Beautiful. Here we go. The Supreme Speaker Systems. Hashem completely programs a wife, a woman. Not only is she mirroring her husband's energy and everything that he does is going to be reflected inside of her, but she is also Hashem's supreme speaker system. Hashem directly talks to and speaks to the husband through the wife herself. Imagine that you're listening to an FM radio, right? You've invested in an expensive speaker system with tweeters, bass, subwoofers, and housed in an expensive mahogany casing. Right now, the top of the line surround system in your new beautiful home, it blasts you from every angle you can possibly imagine, listening to crystal clear clarity. And you're listening to a radio broadcast, and all of a sudden, these speakers start hurling at you all types of swear words and insults. Would you be angry at that speaker system that you bought? Grab them and smash them to the floor? You got to be insane. How much money did you spend on these things? And now you're going to go berserk at a box? The guilty party could be broadcasting from a studio that is hundreds or thousands of miles away from your whereabouts. And your speaker system, you think that is responsible for what you're hearing, despite the fact that it emitted the sound? You've got to be out of your mind. Hear the analogy? It's crazy. The exact same system goes for your wife. Whether it's her anger, whether it's her yelling, whether it is any type of disrespect that you hear, or any type of verbal abuse that comes out, she is not the one sending you these messages. She is not the one who is talking to you with a purpose. It is God Himself using that beautiful speaker box in your home to be able to communicate with you. For that reason, a husband should listen to what is coming out of her mouth. Even when it's stinging, even when it hurts, even when it's hard to hear. He should no sooner be upset at her than he would be at that supreme stereo system. How crazy can you be not to understand where this is coming from? When you're turning your radio on, all you're doing is picking up a signal. There's not a little man inside the box going, he doesn't live there. Inside of there, a mini man inside that home. You can open up the speakers and see who's there. Stop misinterpreting messages. It is not only ridiculous to get mad at your wife, but it is damagingly destructive. Learn to listen, even or especially when it hurts, because that booming Bosco is not only blabbingly bombastic as you think, but it is brutally buzzing and blazingly beautiful. Bottom line, the tape deck. A wife also resembles Hashem's tape deck. I don't know if kids nowadays even know what that is. You know, we could say it's an MP3 player or whatever songs that you have on your phone or whatever devices that you have. A person inserts a disc into his tape deck, or you download files and you put them on whatever device that you have, because that's what you want to hear. So Hashem, exactly the same way, is downloading your playlist. He's setting up what songs are going to be next on your what's it called when it goes to the next song on YouTube? Autoplay maybe? The next song. You know, when you don't have to watch the next video, but it comes up by itself. God is the one who's putting that in the recordings for you. When Hashem wanted to encourage a husband, guess what? He puts in the tape for kindness, for reinforcement, for love. When Hashem wants a husband to do teshuvah, guess what? The next song in your playlist is going to be a wife insulting anger and insults and throwing stuff at you. Hashem's going to know exactly what to play next for what you need to hear. It's not random. It's not emotional. It's not upbringing. God is controlling your playlist every single moment of every single day. So now does it make sense to blame a distasteful CD or a bad recording or a curse song that just came on to your YouTube channel randomly. In essence, that's exactly what a wife is. Hashem's tape deck or Hashem's magnificent, exactly tailored playlist for you. Arguing with a wife or retaliating against her or throwing it back in her face is just like yelling at your YouTube page, or just like putting in a CD or putting in a vinyl or setting up your own playlist, and then you press play and then you're mad at what songs are coming up because you specifically programmed that order, but today you don't like that, so now you're getting mad at the device when you're the one who programmed it in the first place. Even God, who sets it up for you, is doing exactly what you programmed. It's the energy that you put forth. It's the mitzvahs that you do. It's the averos that you do that are going to be setting up the reality for which you live in. So you can't get mad at somebody or something else when you are the one who is setting up your life before you. Rather than fighting against God's tape deck or your playlist, the husband should open his ears and listen to the musical messages that are being brought towards him, no matter how wonderful or no matter how unpleasant those might be. Everything that comes before you. We often see that the apparent model husbands, the amazing guys, still suffer insults from their wife. How could it be that such an amazing person, such a wonderful guy, he's so good, and this is somebody who's spewing at him when he gets home and spitting on him? What kind of wife is that? Despite the husband's outer conduct, what everybody around him might see, what other friends might know of him, guess what? God knows you inside and out. Your innermost dimensions are never hidden from the one above. He sees you, and guess what? He sees right through you as well. He has X-ray vision to your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and your motivations behind everything that you're doing. Even if you do a good act or a chesed, if you have an ulterior motive, God will know about it. Hashem therefore does what is needed for that person to stimulate self-assessment and teshuvah. No one can fool God. Whatever we see being thrown our way is a direct and clear message that we need to wake the heck up and smell the coffee if that's what you like, or natural stuff if that's what you like to do, and start doing something about our behavior to fix what we need to understand why is this in my life right now. Am I going to ignore it? Am I going to fight back about it? Or am I going to accept it lovingly and warmly and say, hey, this is something that can help me to be a better person? Sometimes a wife reacts in a way that certainly does not reflect a husband's behavior. Then it's a clear sign from Hashem that he's relaying a message for him by way of her. When things are logical, when things make sense, people tend to blame or excuse nature for it. Because, oh, that's the way of the world, and that's the way it is. It just happened because of this. And they put their finger on it, and then they lose self-accountability. But when something seems so out of the ordinary, when events are so random that you think there was no other way it could have happened, then they start giving credit to God. Then they start to understand, wow, what a miracle was done for me at this time. And the same way that we look at those crazy happenings or circumstances, we should use the same logic in our lives when things seem natural, because God is using that as a way to talk to us without needing open extrovert miracles, because nowadays things work through the natural realm. We don't have outright open miracles. Even when we do have something that is amazing that happens to us, it's still a random act that can be defined by some weird happenstance or way of logic or nature that people can define it and still excuse God out of the picture. But that's our miracle nowadays, when we have those random events that happen to show God is in our lives. But we have to look for that in everything, not just in those events. Let's assume that Marty, our man, is a model husband. He always comes straight home from work. He doesn't go to hang out with the guys. He doesn't go and play with his friends or hang out on his phone and watch videos. When he's done, he's home because he knows his wife needs his help. He helps her around the house as much as he can. One day, He came home after doing all the food shopping for Shabbos to help his wife. He knows that's what she wanted, and he spared no expense in buying his wife's favorite meats and all the sweets that she loves, and brings the biggest bouquet of roses that he knows will put a smile on her face when she walks home. So he walks in the door, and boom! Sonic boom! Smash! She's like a hoser that fires at him like an AK-47, a 105 millimeter bombshell right between his eyes. Explodes him into 1,000 pieces. He can't understand what the heck is happening to him. Marty did every single thing he knows that he could to please her, to make her happy. And now she's pouring hot coals of anger down his back and insulting him in every way possible. Why in the world would she be so angry? Or even better way to ask, why would God throw that CD of wrath, that playlist of anger, right into this guy's mind and to smash him in every way possible? Why would Hashem do that? This guy being such a good husband, he comes straight home. He knew exactly what his wife would want. He's only doing it to make her happy, you would say. So, let's rewind 1 hour. While shopping at a store for exactly what his wife wants, Marty's walking around picking stuff off the shelves, and as he's doing it, he happens to be looking at other women who are in the same aisle. And what is he doing? He's contaminating his eyes. He's blemishing his soul. And his wife has no idea what he was doing. She has no clue what he was looking at. But guess who does know? God knows exactly where, exactly when, and exactly what this man, Marty, did. And Hashem then made his wife react in the way that she did. Guys, injecting into her a dose of anger and fraying her nerves so that she would be triggered as soon as her husband got home into an urgent soul-searching reaction. Though that way, Marty would then realize something is wrong here. Something requires my teshuvah, my introspection right away. You got to wake up and see something is wrong here. I did everything I could that I know that makes her happy. But still, she's reacting like this to me. Something has got to be wrong. So wake up, realize what is happening, and what can I do? Let me do some self-teshuvah right now. Let me do some introspection. Let me review my day and see what I could do to make my ways a little bit better than they were. And with that awareness and with that recognition, we should be able to strive and soar and have an awesome-daciously amazing rest of your day. Dun, 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 dun.